Okay, so are birth control moms real? And if they are, how will they impact the 2012 vote? Ambreen Ali from Roll Call joins us. Nice to see you, Ambreen.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
All right, birth control moms, is there such a group?
I think that really no. I mean, we're having two different kind of conversations right now. On the left, there's this narrative that women's rights groups, women's health is going to be the big issue in this election cycle, and I think there's a real effort to try and kind of push this birth control mom narrative, as Rush was alluding to. But on the right, I think that this is not really an issue about birth control at all. The people who are opposed to the president's birth control mandate are doing so on religious freedom grounds, and for them it's an issue about religious freedom. There's a new poll out that shows that among both Republicans and independents who lean Tea Party, there's a great opposition to the president on this issue. And so you're really seeing this fall along partisan lines as you have. You know, I don't really see a new constituency here.
Well, how important is the women's vote? If we go back to 2008, I mean, how much do these candidates have to reach out to the women?
A women vote is very important, particularly because among independent voters, women are in the majority. So
by a lot in the majority, or just like
60%.
60%, okay.
And in 2008, President Obama won the women's vote by, I think, about 13 points. So he won by a big margin. But in 2010, women were pretty split between the two parties. So there is kind of a swing vote going on there, and I think that there is potential. If this issue sticks until November, it is very possible that it could be a very important voting issue. But it's important to remember that women, like men, are worried about jobs. Ultimately, this is an election about the economy, and actually, women have lost more jobs than men in the recession. So I don't know if this is going to be the top issue for them.
I think there's we have a Fox News poll, the top issue in 2008 when the women economy was 66%, health care was 10%. So that, I mean, does show that they're interested in the economy. All right, now that's the general election. How about the primary? Any thoughts? I mean, because we have 4 candidates who are vying for the Republican nomination. Where's the Republican vote? Do we know anything about where it might fall for them? Well,
there's a really big social conservative group, the Susan B. Anthony list, that last week endorsed Rick Santorum, and I think there is a lot of support for Rick Santorum, despite there's been some talk about, you know, whether he's going too far with some of his stances on abortion and women in combat, even this birth control issue. But I do think that there's still a lot of women, particularly socially conservative women, who still back Rick Santorum.
Well, it's sort of interesting that they talk about, I've heard over the last couple of days about how enormous number of Catholic women use birth control. And so it's sort of unusual that this would be the issue that they would sort of try to grab that vote.
Well, Greta, again, it's not really about birth control for them. For them, it's about religious freedom. That's really what this narrative is becoming about on the right. And I think the more successful conservatives are in talking about the religious freedom issue and government imposing on that, as opposed to birth control, the more successful they'll be. So,
and of course, the Democrats are anxious to get over to the health area.
Right.
Because it's not very strong, particularly for them.
Right.
And, you know, it's fascinating that this has become such an important issue. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's become the narrative in the. I mean, we're all talking about jobs for so long, and then when the president when the president changed his rule in terms of HHS, in terms of health care, about birth control, that completely changed the direction of the discussion.
Yeah, and I'm still not convinced that this is bad for the president. I think that talking about this issue instead of maybe jobs numbers or some of the economic initiatives might actually play out really well for him in the elections.
I don't know, because people are very passionate about this issue. I mean, that, you know, the viewer email, of course, you know, viewer email can be very skewed, but people are very passionate about this.
Certainly. Yeah.
Anyway, Ambreen, thank you.
Thank you.